Welcome to the programme. This week we'll catch up with Glasgow and Edinburgh and get their thoughts on our disappointing start to the Rabo Direct Pro 12. And John Rutherford, the former Scotland standoff, kicks off our new 5 quick questions with Scotland Greats feature. But first, we'll go back to the Premiership and highlights from the green yards of Melrose against Currie with Stuart Cameron.
Well, you always get a good scrap between these two teams, and there was plenty of excitement in this game, although the first 40 minutes didn't produce many scores. Melrose did cross the line twice, but both times the tries were disallowed. The first for a forward pass, and the second one from skipper Bruce Colvin was chalked off by referee David Changling after consultation with his assistant referee. Melrose took the lead with a Richard Mill penalty a couple of minutes before half-time. Currie scrum half Richard Snedden darted over for a try converted by Adam Hines in injury time in the first period to send Currie in at the break 7-3 up. But after Mill had closed the gap to a point with another penalty, Simeon James got Currie's second try with this well-taken score. Richard Snedden's break attracting the attentions of John DL, a good offload to Andrew Benaikos, and there was Simeon James on his shoulder to take the scoring pass. Hines converted again and Currie looked comfortable, leading 14-6 on the hour. But Fraser Thompson, released by Glasgow Warriors this weekend, gave the home fans something to cheer about when he broke through to score, with Andrew Skeen converting. On 72 minutes, Skeen then had this kick to put Melrose into the lead. And it just had the legs to get over the bar. 3 minutes later and Melrose got themselves into a useful position. Replacement Jamie Murray received the ball out on the left wing, and despite being tackled, he scrambled over the line for Melrose's second try. On 80 minutes, Currie were caught in possession. The ball went loose and John DL hacked forward. The big man won the race to the ball. Good recycling there from Melrose and plenty of space out on the left. Ross Miller passing out to Fraser Thompson. Good cover defence from Currie, but Andrew Skeen on hand to wrap the game up for Melrose. And despite a late try for Currie in injury time from Mike Entwistle, it ended Melrose 26, Currie 21.
Switched off maybe for 10 minutes. They got a lot more ball in that period and were able to take their chances when they came. I felt we had just as many, if not more, chances in the match, but our last pass let us down. Whereas their last pass and decision making was good in the final quarter of the pitch.
We had enough belief. I think we earned it right in the first half. There's a couple of times Currie should have maybe been further ahead at times, but we did get out and we gave ourselves that chance. And we know if we're in touch and just with guys like Fraser Thompson, Skinner, and even Joe Helps, these guys in the back line now that will create chances. And a couple of scrappy things that we can work on. But we're second game into the season and attitude the big thing the last 2 weeks, and to come away with 26-14, from trailing just shows what we've got in the locker. But a lot to work on still, but that's exactly where we expect to be, certainly at this time of the year.
At Rayburn Place, Gala edged a win against the Edinburgh Academicals. Here are 2 of the tries from that game, from Aki's Ewan Campbell and Gala's Ewan Dodds. In other results, Ayr scored 4 tries in their win at home to Dundee High School to put them at the top of the table with a 100% record. Stirling County won at Heriot's, while Boroughmuir defeated Aberdeen Grammar on the road. Now let's turn our attention to the Rabo Direct Pro 12, which did not start well for the Scottish teams at the weekend. We caught up with Sean Cox, the Edinburgh lock, but first let's hear from Ryan Grant at Glasgow.
There is a lot of positives in there to take, and it was a first game for myself, and boys like Chris Cussiter and Al Kellock coming back. So there was a bit of rust there, but hopefully we've shaken off those cobwebs now, and we can push forward with Scarlets at home on Friday.
Scarlets had a good result against Leinster at the weekend, so they don't look like they're an easy team for the taking.
Nah, it was a bit of a shock result. I saw that. They've started the campaign really well. But Scarlets are never an easy team to beat, home or away. And if we want to win, we have to, we're going to have to improve a lot from last Friday. But like I said, we're more than capable of doing that, and we want to make this place, like I said, a fortress. So, the onus is on us to get that victory on Friday night.
How excited are you by this new stand in the new stadium, and how do you think it will feel on Friday night when these seats are, or a lot of these seats you hope are full?
Yeah, I'm hoping all the seats are full for Friday night's game. But I think it'll be great. I mean, you know, I went from playing at Murrayfield to Firhill, which for me was hugely different. You know, the massive stadium that is Murrayfield to Firhill, which is close, but here, you know, there were still spaces at Firhill, and here we've got, you know, I think we've got a perfect amount of seats for the crowd to have a real impact on us. And if we can fill both stands and, you know, people trackside and get the support behind the boys, you know, we'll win.
Expectations are higher off the field, certainly from supporters this year. Do you feel the expectations are greater on the field as well?
Yeah, definitely. You know, we've had a pre-season camp up in St Andrews, and we've set our team's goals, and there's a big buzz, and that's why the disappointment on Saturday night was so magnified, because the expectation was magnified. You know, not only amongst the supporters that are turning out week in, week out, but amongst the players. You know, we want to win games, we want to win trophies, being quarterfinals, semi-finals every single year, and to do that, we know we need to get off to a good start in the Rabo. So, you know, with the disappointing result on Saturday, that's just made Friday even more important to us.
1979, the first game of the Five Nations, as it was then, against Wales, who were very strong. I remember JPR certainly played, and JJ and the Pontypool front row. And we just lost, but it was a big thing for Selkirk, because Selkirk hadn't had a cap player since Ronnie Cowan in the early 60s. But I remember I used to walk along Princess Street with my dad before internationals, and there was a shop called Forsyth's, and they used to have pen portraits of all the international team. And I remember going down on the Friday before we played my first game, and of course the pen portrait was there. And then there was a guy called Paul Ringer, who was the number 7 open side flanker for Wales. And first line out, he came over. It was a French referee, I remember. He didn't speak a word of English. And Paul came over, and I thought, nice guy. He's going to say, have a good game. But of course, it was a total opposite. He told me he was going to break my legs. Barry John, I would try and watch Barry whenever I could, and of course I met him down in Wales after one of the internationals we played in, and it was a really great moment, having watched him but never spoken to him. And he was a real gent. He was everything I thought he would be. Favourite game was down in Wales, 1982, where we beat Wales 5-1. It was the first time Wales, I think, had been beaten down there for 20 years by a Scottish team. And it was just the way we did it. We were really up against it the first 20 minutes, I remember that, and then we just cut loose and we scored 5 tries to 1, and a lot of the tries were the length of field stuff, so it was a really enjoyable game to play in. And in the evening, the dinner where they had these big banquets, the Welsh team, and you know, you couldn't imagine this happening nowadays, they stood up, and in recognition of our win, they all sang Flower of Scotland. The best of all was Graham Murray from New Zealand. Every time I played against the All Blacks, he was the 7, and he was outstanding. I just felt that I had no time on the ball at all. I'd like to mention Ian Milne. I don't think Ian really got the recognition he deserved. In the 70s and 80s, Scotland were always a lightweight team, and he was like a rock at that time. He held the team together, and he was really an outstanding player of that generation. And as I say, probably didn't get the recognition that he should have got.
Before we go, a quick look at this Saturday's fixtures in the Premiership, and a big game at the top of the table between Gala and Ayr at Netherdale. while Currie, Dundee, Melrose and Stirling all have home games. We hope you've enjoyed the programme, but remember to give us your views at scotsman.com. That's it for this week.